All right, hopping in real quick to let you know about something we're super excited about. If you've known the show for any length of time at all, you'll know that Steven and I are both musicians. We've played together in bands for something like 20 years at this point, and we currently have a duo that's just the two of us, and we just put a new single out. It's available worldwide. I'll let Steven tell you how to find it, what it's called, what it's all about, and then we'll carry on with the episode. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah, the single is called In Memoriam. Our band name is Token Sacrifice. So if you just look us up on your favorite app, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you use, you should be able to quickly find us. We got a single there, and hopefully more to come.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of old tracks as well you can find on most of the platforms, but this one specifically deals with like people that we've lost in our life. It's very meaningful to us, and we hope you like it as well. Anyway, until next time, have a great day. Working Man's Weightlifting Show, the show where working men talk about weightlifting. I'm your host, Nick Wiley, and I'm joined tonight by my permanent brother and younger co-host, Mr. William Stephen Wiley, affectionately known as just Stephen. If you call him William, he may not pay attention to you. I don't know. Unless you're in elementary school or something. Dumb. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Nice intro.
Yeah, trying to get better, you know. It's all about little positive movements forward. Just like weightlifting. Hey.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
Nice.
Pulled that one right out of the end. Not speaking good English. Anyway, English well. That's what I meant to say. Moving right ahead. What's going on, man? How's it been lately?
Pretty good.
Good.
How about you?
Pretty good week, you know. I didn't sleep well last night. I had really, really weird dreams that we went to New York City and for some reason we're like really slumming it and staying in this like, it was like an apartment building, and in the bottom of it there was this like super shady arcade, a lot of like drug use, and then like our family was there just like sort of like it was okay, but we were like, we felt very uncomfortable. And I distinctly remember one of the games that was being played, it wasn't even really a video game, but like people were laying down on the floor on their stomachs, and their upper body was on this thing that looked like a sort of almost like a ramp like you would use for like skateboards. Not a big one, but like let's say it goes up to about 1.5 feet tall, and it started at your like torso, and your hands went in it, and they were just like scooting their shoulders, almost like you were like moving a steering wheel. It was like inside this weird triangular contraption. So I'm looking around in this room. There's all these people laying down on these triangles or these ramp things, like, and their shoulders were just scooting. It was so weird. I did not. I woke up after that and I could not go back to sleep. It was like,
maybe
very
you were, really want to do some dumbbell shrugs.
Maybe
that's
so.
Why you had the dream.
It is. You know what? I did do shoulders yesterday, and it was very difficult.
Oh, interesting.
So
maybe that's what it was.
Hey,
your
you
body
know
was
what? I didn't even think about that because I was sore as a joker when I woke up. So maybe my body was like repairing itself by dreaming about this weird workout. I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, super weird. Hey, let's just get the paperwork out of the way right out of the gate. If you'd like to know more about us, you can go to our website at workingmansweightlifting.com. If you want to support us, the very best way you can do that is to mention us to a friend. You know, word of mouth, that works great. Another sort of freebie way to help us out is to leave a review of the show on your favorite podcasting app. That goes a long way toward putting us in front of other people using algorithms, that sort of thing. The reviews count for a lot, which is really helpful. So thanks in advance for that. And if you want to take it even further, we do have merch available at shop.workingmansweightlifting.com. We got t-shirts, stickers. If you have ideas about things you'd like to see, let us know. We can look into making that happen. And then lastly, we do have a community that is not that active. But if you go to discord.workingmansweightlifting.com, if you know what Discord is, you can join the community there. when I say it's not active, I don't mean that we're not there. We are actually there. If you want to post, we can get it going. We kind of started getting it going, and then it sort of, because we stopped doing the show for a while, it kind of died out. But it's still available. There's still some people that are members, and I'm sure if we get some conversations going, it would just sort of light back on fire. So we'd love to see you there if you want to communicate with us, or you have questions, or you have topic ideas, or whatever. We'd love to talk to you. That's a great place to do it. Totally free. So check out discord.workingmansweightlifting.com. That'll take you right to the link. You can join the server and talk to us there. So, recap, like we like to do. We've been doing since the 1980s. Me, at least. You're a little younger than that. But, yeah. How was training this week so far?
Good. I guess we haven't actually recorded one here in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been playing around with like a new program. And I've also ordered some extra equipment for the gym. So I'm excited about that, which kind of plays into today's topic. But for now, I am still kind of tweaking, but I would say I'm really just doing things that I enjoy. I'm kind of doing a blend of a lot of different things I've done in the past. So I have a little bit of 5-3-1 in there for the upper body, the bench press, and overhead press.
Nice.
Namely. Lower body, I've been doing a load of kettlebell work and the glute ham developer that I have pretty much exclusively, or even like body weight work. I was having a lot of like knee pain, back pain and stuff from heavy squats and heavy deadlifts. So I just decided to take a break for a while, but it's honestly been a lot of fun and I've been enjoying a lot, trying some new movements, some of which we'll talk about today. But for the most part right now, it's got me feeling really good. And it's honestly just the enjoyment of some of these new movements kind of has breathed some new life back into the home gym space. So as of right now, I've really been enjoying it. And I've actually increased the amount of days. I've actually been working out like 5 or 6 days a week. So it's been a lot of fun.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
How about you?
I can definitely talk about what I'm doing. Hang on. Let me pull out my app here. Because since our last recording, I have also made some tweaks, but also doing the same thing. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. So if you listen to our last episode, I may or may not have said it by name, but I'm doing a program. I'm using the Strong Lifts app that we've talked a lot about on this show. And I'm doing in the past, I've done like the basic, what do they call it? Just the Strong Lifts 5x5 program. This time I'm trying one called, I think, Strong Lifts Plus. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And it's basically supposed to be 2 days of like powerlifting and then 1 day of upper body hypertrophy. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically for me. And I have really actually enjoyed it. My upper body is definitely my weakest link for sure. Like I'm not a very well-rounded lifter in general. But for some reason, I say for some, I've talked a lot about it on the show. I had shoulder surgery at this point about 10 years ago, and I never really took training of that shoulder seriously enough after it and just atrophied like crazy. And that has impacted shoulders and bench. So I am really in a mode of trying to like turn that ship around now. And I think this program has been ideal for doing that. So I really like that. Here's the couple things that have happened. So part of the reason we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks is because I just got totally wiped out. I got a stomach bug or food poisoning, one of the two. I'm not really sure which of the two, about 2.5 weeks ago now. And that completely wiped me out for a couple of weeks. I mean, it truly wiped me out for about a week. And then the week after that, I just wasn't like, I'm not going to work out. Like I just feel, I was very weak. Like I didn't feel like myself. So this is my first week back that we're recording on Thursday, and I've done Monday and Wednesday this week. It's been going well. But that was rough. The other tweak that I made though, I thought I would share, which just, I'd probably be kind of a rare person this would apply to. Maybe not. I don't know. I thought it would be kind of interesting. So the first 2 days of the program are supposed to be, with barbells. And then you can basically do all the other ones with dumbbells, or that's what I'm doing. You wouldn't have to, but I figured hypertrophy, I'm going to just do it with dumbbells. So what that means is I'm going to your gym on Monday and Wednesday, and then on Friday I'm working out in my own house, which is basically I just have, as I've talked about before, I've got a bench and a set of adjustable dumbbells and dip bars. So that has actually been working out really well. But what I found is my new commitment in life right now, at least that's working for me better than anything has in a long time, is I just said, I've got to stop making excuses on days that for some reason I can't get to your place. Like if I wake up too late, or I stay up too late the night before, and I just know I'm not going to make it, whatever, I would always just write those off, and I would just completely skip it in the past. And so what was happening is, like, I'd be on a program that's like a 3-day program. Usually I'm getting 1 to 2 days, and you're just not going to, like, I mean, it's better than nothing for sure. But like, really what I found for me, like, psychologically, it was bad because I was constantly beating myself up. Like, dude, you failure. Like, you can't even make it to the gym 3 times, whatever. So what I said this time was like, just move, dude. Just get moving. Whatever you got to do to get moving. So what I decided to do was write my own alternate days in the Strong Lifts app. So if I can't make it to your place, I have an A alt, a B alt, and then in C is the hypertrophy, which I'm doing from home anyway. So A alt and B alt is what I did this week because I just couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And for other reasons, we weren't working out together this week. So I did the alternate versions. They're all dumbbell, like, sort of stand-ins for the standard Strong Lifts program. And that has been insanely helpful. I can't tell you how helpful. So I don't know if anybody out there, like, if you normally go to a commercial gym, but for some reason there's, like, if that's becoming an excuse for you, like if the trip there is problematic, or I don't know, whatever's
the
involved,
timing or something.
Yeah, like the commute or your job schedule. If there's some hurdle, I, at least for me, highly recommend getting a set of adjustable dumbbells. We really like power blocks. We've talked a lot about them in the past. You can hit us up on Discord if you want, discuss it. We can send some specific recommendations. Get a bench if you can. That's pretty much all you need. I mean, really, like for like to have an effective but very compact setup at home. And the only thing I want to add, which I've talked about a few episodes ago, is I really want to get like a power tower so I can do chin-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, that's a very small but useful.
Yeah, it doesn't take up a lot
setup.
of room at all.
Yeah, it's literally I have a home office that's just a bedroom that we converted, and it's just like taking up a third of my home office.
Yeah.
And I can push the whole thing up against the wall when I'm not using it. So anyway, that was a long recap, but actually for once in my life I had something interesting to share. So
very nice.
I thought I would go on longer than normal. But now that we're done with that, moving on to the topic of the day, I'll let you say. I've been talking so much.
Oh, you're fine. So I can't remember if it was the last episode, but it was one of the last episodes we did barbells versus dumbbells. So this time I thought we would do dumbbells versus kettlebells.
Nice.
Or even barbells versus kettlebells. It really doesn't matter. But
everything versus kettlebells.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that was my thought. Anything to add?
No, but just I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Well, you have been. I will say that Stephen has been on a kick over the last several months. Really several years. Like, you've been kettlebell curious.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wow. And we've done episodes in the past. We've done programs. I mean, we talked about the Kettlebells for Aesthetics program or whatever that we did from Mind Pump. That was probably now like what, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that. And so, I mean, you have been researching it for a long time, but it seems like recently you've had some breakthroughs and maybe some new information. I don't know. So interested to hear, but I guess how do you want to start out? Maybe we'll say, last time we talked a lot about like why you would choose to use, like what are dumbbells more appropriate for and what are kettlebells more appropriate for. So maybe we can do that same kind of thing. Like what are kettlebells appropriate for versus their counterparts?
Yeah. So the kettlebells for aesthetics program you were talking about, it's got like an exclusive. I mean, I know why they did it. It was kind of it's just a thing to make.
Yeah.
And just something different to do with your time, basically. So it's exclusive kettlebells. So it's like, you're doing bench press with kettlebells. You're doing rows with kettlebells. You're doing any movement, legs, shoulders, back, whatever is 100% kettlebells. There may be some push-ups in there. I think there's some chin-ups, but other than that, it's all kettlebells. And I mean, honestly, if you're doing weighted pull-ups, then you put a kettlebell on the belt or something, and now it's kettlebell pull-ups. So yeah, it's a cool program. It's super cheap. I don't know what it is now. I'm pretty sure we got it for like $10. So it's not like there's no regret buying it because it didn't cost hardly anything. You don't get a lot, I will say. I mean, you get like 2 pieces of paper that just have the program on it. But that's all you really need. It's not meant to be like a lifelong, life-changing program. But when I got into it, I found some of the movements to be really awkward with a kettlebell, such as things like bench press. You can do them. There's like a lot of guys do floor presses, which is basically you bridge up like with your legs, kind of like flex your glutes and make a bridge. So it's almost like a decline press. And basically the thought behind it is you're extending the range of motion off the floor. So you're not just flat on the floor. You're kind of at a back angle. And then you bench like that with kettlebells. That's what a lot of guys do if all you have is kettlebells. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are a person that you just, for whatever reason, only have some kettlebells, you could definitely get a solid workout in. And you could do some of the more traditional movements like that. You just might have to make some slight adjustments like that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. But in our case, we don't just have kettlebells. We've got a little bit of everything. So it's kind of nice. So if you are like that and you have, access to other things, even when we did kettlebells for aesthetics, I'm pretty sure I immediately swapped out the bench press for dumbbells because I just have a full set of dumbbells. So to me, I think it's a little bit, it's just not as comfortable of a movement with kettlebells to do things like bench press. But like overhead press, for example, I actually think kettlebells feels amazing if you're standing. If you're able to do like a kettlebell clean and then a press, it feels something about it feels really natural and feels really good. Like it just feels like a full body workout. Yeah. I've seen some guys online, like you said, I've been kind of researching for a while. I found some guys online, some of which are like very against doing I'll just call them traditional lifts with a kettlebell. And they would even say, I'm pretty sure that they used to do that. And now they've kind of found that like the secret sauce of kettlebells is in more kettlebell focused movements. So that would be basically a bunch of full body stuff, a front squat where you've got it in like the rack position, which just means it's up high. You're holding it up like chest level. You're doing, double front squats. You've got 2 kettlebells now. It's getting pretty heavy because you can hold 2 pretty heavy kettlebells that way. Yeah. That position, that rack position will allow you to hold quite a bit of weight, way more than you can't hold 2 heavy dumbbells in that position because they're shooting out from your body or you're hitting yourself in the face. Like it's very hard to rack a dumbbell like that and actually hold it in a way that's not going to hurt something,
Right.
With the kettlebell, it's way more secure. It comes back and lands on your forearm. It's kind of resting there. And if you hold it right, and you learn how to rack, you actually can hold that weight for a very long time without getting all the fatigue in there. So that's where the secret of kettlebells, I would call it, is learning some of these key movements like the clean, the snatch, and just learning how to actually manipulate the bell itself so that you're not getting so fatigued with the thing. And then that's where the real kettlebell stuff comes in, is like a lot of kind of endurance. It's like muscular endurance. Like you're doing the idea is that you can basically do a long session of a workout without ever putting the weight down, because you can just shift over to the other hand, rack it on the left, then rack it on the right, do a bunch of squats, do a bunch of presses, do a bunch of cleans, whatever it is, and the other side's kind of resting, and then you just throw the kettlebell over to the other side. And there's a lot of technique involved. You have to take some time to learn these movements, but it's really cool stuff. I would definitely tell anybody they should look into it if you're at all interested in it. But that is where the real kettlebell stuff comes in. The kettlebell swing, the clean, the snatch, the clean and press, and those type of moves, the Turkish get up, all these things you've kind of heard about if you've looked into kettlebells at all.
Things you would not do with any other.
Exactly. Yeah. You just wouldn't do it.
Because the shape of the handle, you have to. Yeah.
Like I saw that some guy just broke the record for a Turkish get up with a barbell. I think he did like 225 or something crazy with he just picked up a barbell like that.
Have mercy.
But that's like a outlier feat of strength. That's not a normal training thing. And he easily could have injured himself. So I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. But with a kettlebell, it can be very comfortable, and it can really kind of train you. You're doing a lot through a whole Turkish get up. So I've really started looking into that. And when you take that, then you've got your dumbbells over here. I do think something like a bench press, I think it just feels, to me, it's a lot more, you're so used to it. You're holding it in your hands, you're doing an incline bench or flat bench, however you want to do it. And same, like I said, for a barbell, you're used to it being in your hands. That's kind of how the movement is made.
Well, also, it's worth saying that there's no way you could hold the kettlebell such that the weight would be evenly distributed on both sides of your hand or your arm. Like it's going to be, it's all going to be on the outside of your forearm.
Yeah.
Whereas with a dumbbell, it's going to be equally balanced around your fist, and the same with a barbell. So it's like you would always be compensating for the fact that the kettlebell's like sort of
and even if you get in a weird position, it might even kind of swing out from your arm a little bit because you're not actually holding it with like a solid grip like that. So
plus, if you start getting heavy, I imagine that would become really hard on your forearm. Because it's so big, it would be sort of bulbous and like kind of punching you. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's like that. Curls, for example, I think, it's, in my opinion, it's probably best just to stick to dumbbells or easy bar curl, barbell curl, something that you're used to curling. Does that mean it's bad to curl a kettlebell? No, not at all. And if you have nothing but kettlebells, again, it's not that you're going to not grow muscle or not get a good workout in. It's just that having access to both, I think that they definitely I think you will find that they shine better in their respectable places. And they've become to me, it becomes a lot more enjoyable. I didn't really care I would just get to the bench press on like that program, for example. And I was like, this is really awkward. Like I've done this for so long with these other implements, and I actually enjoy doing that. So I'm just going to go back to that because my chest does not know if I'm holding a kettlebell or a dumbbell or a barbell. It just knows if I'm working it. So,
right.
Like for a real world example, like my new program, I decided to stick to barbell bench and barbell overhead press because I was kind of enjoying making some good progress on that. So I just started doing 5-3-1 on those movements. So it's literally just old school bench press, old school overhead press. But I'm still doing some kettlebell overhead press kind of like as an assistance hypertrophy move for high reps. And I'm adding like a kettlebell clean in there. So I'm practicing these kettlebell movements to try to get better at them, but also trying to build muscle and do the hypertrophy side of things as well at the same time. But yeah, to me, I think it just, if somebody's out there looking for a program, what I've started to find is that a lot of these guys that do kettlebells, their programs are really expensive. And I mean, like,
strange,
either monthly, I've seen some like $40 some a month kind of stuff. to me,
it's like
is
higher than the cost of a gym.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting there. There's some of them you can buy like a huge package. It'd be like $197 and you get all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting, and I don't want to just drop $200 on this thing. So I've not taken the plunge yet.
You will. I know you.
I may. I don't know. It
kind
of depends.
Holiday special.
Yeah. We'll see what happens like Black Friday or something. But
yeah.
But the people there's a lot of free information on YouTube that I think is, even from these same guys. Lately, I have been really paying a lot of attention to Mark Wildman, and this channel called Lebe Stark. I don't know. He's from another country. Not I think that's how he says it.
Okay.
He does more of like a sports style kettlebell training, I think they call it. And Mark Wildman does more like he's kind of like a tactical guy. He's very into martial arts and different, like very, very real world transferable training.
Yeah.
He does a lot of heavy clubs, heavy kettlebells, all this stuff. I think he's worked with Hollywood actors and stuff as well. But he is very knowledgeable and he seems to really know what he's talking about. But they are very, you're not going to see a bench press video on there, at least not for kettlebells when they're talking about it. They're going to show you these movements. But I do think that's a very good place to start if you want to see how to actually pull off these movements like the clean and snatch and things like that I'm talking about. The other thing Mark Wildman talks about a lot is the fact that, like I said, kettlebells have the unique ability to just be able to do a super extended workout without ever putting the weight down. And that's where he claims like all the money is at, because once you're able to pick up like a 50-pound kettlebell and work with it for 20 or 30 minutes straight without ever putting it down, you're going to be in pretty dang good shape. Like whatever you're doing. Sense. I've not actually tried to do something like that yet. But I do think that idea is very cool and it's very intriguing to me right now. So what I've done, I was talking about getting some new gear. If you want to say something, jump in. I'm just
no. I mean, I will just say that when we have explored kettlebells in the past, like I've tried to kind of go along with you, and as the furthest I've really gotten is like I feel like I've gotten a pretty good form down on a standard like 1-arm or 2-arm swing.
Yep.
And I can sort of do the clean and press, but I almost have to do those supervised. Like if I'm working out with you, I'll have you make sure I'm doing it right, but I don't have it I don't feel like I've got the muscle memory down to like perfectly do it. But I always have to remind myself that like, we started doing barbells like a long time ago. And dumbbells. Like at this point, probably pushing almost 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
So those feel very natural. Like I don't feel like I have to, even if I like learn, like for instance, recently I learned from you that like to try some tweaks on my barbell form, like for doing bench press to try to help, just some plateaus that I was having and stuff. But it's not like it feels like, because I know what home base feels like, tweaking it by like moving my arms out a little wider or by tucking my shoulders in or whatever the thing is, like it's like in my head I can sort of like still like construct all that. The kettlebell thing to me still feels very foreign. It's like I don't quite every time I do it I'm like, am I doing this right? Like I guess like, so for me, like I'm just not quite as I like it a lot, but I don't, it feels that I will say it always really feels good like on your body. It just feels good, but I don't feel like I quite have the technique part of it down where I can really speak intelligently about it other than swings. I feel like that swings are the only one that I've done a lot of, because when I was right after my first son was born, which is going to be 3 years ago next week, which blows my mind. That's pretty much all I was doing. I bought Pavel's book, Simple and Sinister, and one other one he had maybe. And I started trying to do those like kettlebell only type. That was the only working out. I was doing it all during that, first few months, and swings became the thing I was doing by far the most of. Because the other thing he has you do is Turkish get up if you do simple and sinister. And I can't do that because of my shoulder.
Right. Yeah.
I've yet to really do it. I mean, I can do it with like a shoe.
Yeah.
Or like something that, or like a 1 pound, but I can't, for some reason, I have not been able to unlock it. That's honestly kind of a goal for me. I would still love to be able to do
cool,
that. I think the Turkish get up is maybe the most like impressive physical workout I know of. It's crazy, deadlifts, you could sort of say that, but there's something about the Turkish get up. The fact that you're going all the way from laying down on the floor to all the way up and then back down. That's very cool. Yeah. While balancing it is like super, I don't know, just, like you said, it almost feels more like a martial arts move.
Yeah.
And right now I'm not physically able to do it, but one day I'd really like to be able to. Those are my only comments. I appreciate you kind of, I was talking a lot earlier, but this is kind of
you're fine. Yeah.
Your episode from that perspective.
That is kind of what I was saying. I think kettlebells, when I first got into them, I didn't realize the amount of practice they were going to take to get the real kettlebell movements down. I just thought, oh, this is cool. I'm just going to throw it around and swing it and whatever, And funny enough, I tried to show off in front of my wife when I first started and tried to do like hand-to-hand swings, and I just launched the kettlebell out and broke the handle slap off of it.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why the 20-pound kettlebell doesn't match any of the other ones, because I had to just buy
I always
what
wondered why that. I
think you knew it, but it was a long time ago. Yeah, but it went flying out of my hands and slammed on the concrete and broke. And I immediately felt like an idiot. And I just, me and my wife busted out laughing.
I can only imagine being a fly on the wall.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. But so I'll preface the new equipment by saying what we have is what it's called a hard style kettlebell, and there's hard style and there's competition style, and that's what I meant by Levy Stark doing sports style. He's doing like competition style training. It's the difference there is that sports style is basically to be as efficient as possible, so you can go for as long as possible. So you're trying to get like, instead of 20 minutes, you're trying to get like 60 minutes of like constant movement.
Oh, wow.
Get as many, you're trying to beat other guys swinging a kettlebell as much as you can in however many minutes. And then how many snatches can you do? How many cleans can you do?
Yeah.
So there's a different technique they use, because like what I will say, like a swing, if you look at hard style, you usually have like a straight arm, kind of comes kind of far out of your body.
Yeah.
Sports style, it almost looks like a T-Rex arm. You get kind of loose with the elbow, and it's way less muscular looking, I guess I would say, in terms of the way you're holding it. But like that guy from YouTube, Levy Stark, he's very ripped. I mean, he's a cool looking guy. But he swears by that style now because he thinks it feels a lot better. And I've played around with a little bit lately, not a ton, but it does actually feel pretty good. And I don't think there's like, you're blocking yourself from potential or something by doing one or the other. I think it's probably a preference thing, unless you're going to go into the sport of it. But Mark Wildman, it seems like he does a lot more of this hard style. But then where the kettlebell themselves are, when you have a hard style kettlebell, it's basically like a cast iron a cast kettlebell, like, and what that means is every weight is a different size. So if you have a 5-pound kettlebell, or if you're going with kilograms, you have like a 12 kilogram kettlebell, and you get up to a 32 kilogram. Each size of that kettlebell is going to change pretty dramatically. So that's what we have, where like our 5 pounds look kind of hilarious. The handle is way bigger than the weight itself.
Right.
And then we have like an 80 pounder where it's absolutely massive. I've thought for a long time they're just super uncomfortable to hold on to, and they don't really match. Like the ones I have doubles of, I've got 35s, 40s, and 45s. They just don't match. The handles, you can tell, are
the QC is not too good on them.
Yeah. I have no idea what brand they are. We got them from somebody. We didn't buy them from a store. So what I've found, that's what I was trying to share, because I did not know this was out there, and so I'm excited that it is, so other people can get into it. That Mark Wildman guy, he actually has a company. There's a company called Bells of Steel, and they have kind of partnered with him to create the Mark Wildman adjustable competition style kettlebell. And like I said, hard style was that. What competition style does, every weight is the exact same size. So you practice, every kettlebell feels the exact same. Nothing gets bigger or smaller. They're all the same. It's just the meat basically inside of the shape. So in other words, a 5-pounder is way bigger than my 5 pounds. But the 80-pound is the exact same size as the 5-pound in the competition style. So this adjustable kettlebell, basically you unbolt it, take it apart from the middle, and you add however much weight you want in there, and then you close it back up and lock it down, and it's not going to go anywhere. So you don't have to worry about like power blocks or anything like that where you slide something in and out. If you swing it over your head, you don't have to worry about something flying out and hitting you in the back of the head or something. It's very secure. So I ended up ordering 2 of these bad boys. But what I did do, I did not, I realized they have the Mark Wildman version, and it comes with some extras. And then they actually have their own just non-Mark Wildman branded version from the exact same company. It's the exact same bell. And it comes in a couple of different colors, and it's a little cheaper. It doesn't come with the extras and doesn't have his logo on there. And then they have different sizes. So you can kind of get you can get it to be pretty light up to a 32 kilogram, and you can buy it in a pair. That's why I bought 2 of them, because I wanted 2 of the exact same size that I can adjust at whatever weight I want. So I just thought that was really neat. I didn't know they were making things like that. And the idea is basically that like one kettlebell replaces like 41 kettlebells or something in one. So you're saving a ton of money. They're like 2 of them together is like $600, I think. Both of them will get all the way up to 70 pounds or 32 kilograms.
That's good.
So, you're doing a double squat, you can do a double front squat. If you're holding the 70s, that's pretty solid if you're doing a lot of reps.
That's pretty close in price to what we paid for a set of power blocks too. Maybe those were 800, but
something like that. Yeah. So pretty cool. And then if you want more, if you have somebody that trains with you, or you just want to have different ones, Mark Wildman recommends having like 3 sets of different weights. So they're all adjustable, but you have a heavy, a medium, and a light. And you can actually buy them kind of like that, and they're cheaper that way. You don't have to buy each pair that goes all the way to 32 kilograms. You can actually get them to cap at like 20 or something like that, and then get another one that caps at like 16. So the weights basically can fit inside of that shell of any of them. So
just
really
to clarify
cool
really quick, when you say adjustable, because you were explaining this to me a couple of days ago, I had a hard time wrapping my brain around it, but they are adjustable, but they're not like quick adjust, meaning
that's what I meant about the sliding out of power blocks.
You need to set, you would premeditate the weight that you want them to be on. You would screw it all together and make it that weight, and then you would use that.
It comes with like 2 tools that come with it that undo the bolt inside, and then you take it apart basically from the middle, and then there's all these weights you can adjust in there, and then screw this little nut down on there, and then slide it back on and bolt it all together, and then it's all supposed to be really secure feeling in there. But it
makes sense.
From the reviews, people said it only takes a couple of minutes, so you could definitely swap it out in a workout, but you're not going to want to be like doing drop sets or grabbing multiple bells of different weights.
It's not like the equivalent of having like a bunch of different sizes of individual dumbbells. Or the same as, like, I have a Titan Fitness quick adjust kettlebell that you gave me for Christmas a few years ago. And that one literally just has like a mechanism that you just sort of slide it into the weight that you want. But to your point, I use it for swings, but I definitely wouldn't drop it. I don't have any feeling that it would like come apart while using it, but there's no way I'd be like dropping it. Or sure. Beating it up or sort of like throwing it or anything like that. I would not feel comfortable doing that. I don't think they would say you should do that either. I mean, I haven't read their documentation, but just that'd be my guess. Because it's intended to be very like you can just slide a thing and then you're on a new weight. So it's more intended for like on the fly changes.
Yeah.
I just want to make that really clear that these are a little more like semi-permanent, as when well, maybe that's not the right word, but they're bolt together. So they're super solid. but not something you could do in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, that's the reasoning why he's recommending getting a couple different pairs, so that you can set one up a little lighter and then another one up lighter than that. And then you kind of could at least in a quick workout or whatever, you could grab whatever you need.
When are they coming in?
I've gotten part of the shipment. I've gotten the extra weights to get it to the heavy part, but I didn't actually get the bell itself. So I don't know. I'm hoping very soon. Yeah. It should be soon, but you get free shipping, which I thought was pretty cool. And like I said, you can, if you don't get the Mark Wildman version, there's like different colors of the other ones, but you get a little discount if you buy in a pair. So to me, I've really been wanting to get some competition style. I wanted to try that size. So I'm really excited. I really wanted two that felt the same, that I could set to the same weight and work up to some like nice heavy stuff. But that being said, like what we said, we're kind of comparing that to dumbbells and kettlebell, or dumbbells and barbells and kettlebells. All that to say, I would still at this moment probably say, if you are looking for hypertrophy, muscle gain, or even just raw strength, I still think, barbell is probably king for especially the strength aspect if you just want raw, super heavy lifting. But I do think there's a place for all three. And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now is I'm playing around with all three of them and I'm having a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable. It's kind of almost give me that itch that I've had back to how it was when I first started training. Back like when I was doing like Athlete X and stuff where there's like different things. So like the days that I'm using a kettlebell exclusively are like off days from heavy lifting. So I'm doing a lot of snatches and like I'll do overhead carries and I'll just like walk up and down the sidewalk in the back of my house, getting out in the sun and just doing stuff like that. A bunch of swings. Like today I did 100 swings and then I did like 5 laps of double overhead. I would do a double snatch and then carry it overhead down and back up and down the walkway. And then I finished up with some windmills. And so just, I'm like playing around with it, having fun instead of just like holding myself to a strict program on those days. I'm having fun. And then the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm having like a strict program where I'm following 5-3-1 for, like I said, for the bench and overhead press, squats. I'm doing a lot of variations of squatting with kettlebells. And so, yeah, it just really, at the moment, I'm having a lot of fun doing that, and it's feeling a lot better. My body's been feeling pretty good, and I'm just having a blast with it at the moment, and it's really been enjoyable. But I'm going to report back once I get these kettlebells in and see how I really like them. But I'm imagining I'm going to be pretty satisfied with them from all the videos I've watched of them. But
yeah, I mean, it sounds like a high-end product.
Yeah, I think it's very nice.
They're nicer than the ones that you have now. So
yeah,
it would be surprising if they were not.
Exactly.
If you didn't like using them.
So pretty exciting. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Well, I guess we can land this plane, is what we like to say. But again, if you're interested in further discussion, come find us on Discord or our website. You can fill out a form, send us an email if you'd rather do it the old school way. And what else is there to say? Until next time, I've been Nick.
I've been Steven.
We've been the working men who lift weights and talk about it on this show, and we will catch you next time.